Ladies and gentlemen, welcome into another live stream. Tonight we've got news on Donald Trump talking with Mark Carney. The conservatives in Canada not too happy. Donald Trump basically said in a statement that he's like insinuating that Carney's going to win. It would be better for Trump if Carney wins, and I hope Carney wins. Honestly, personally, I do. We've also got the Greenland situation. J.D. Vance visiting the U.S. military base in Greenland, talking about why the United States needs to acquire it. Donald Trump saying that it's going to happen. It has to happen. So, look, with the stuff that Trump's been saying, it might escalate here. I don't know. I mean, he's been basically insinuating they need to change their mind on this, or it's going to get more difficult for them. But we got some, so I'll react to some of this stuff, and then there's this video with this woman though. I'll look at the woman who broke up with her boyfriend because he's a Republican, and these liberal women, it's impossible for them to be happy because they want the high testosterone male who's an alpha, but they're always conservative. So they're conservative, they break up with them, but then if you want a liberal, it's going to be some cuck boy. They don't want them, and then we have a serious problem in this country in terms of relationships and women overvaluing themselves. What's up, guys? Elon X AI purchase, what is that? You know, I know he wants to do something with the payment system on X. He talked about that when he bought the platforms, changing the entire payment system to make it to where he said it was going to be an everything app. I'm not sure if that's going to happen or what. Any news on getting rid of the income tax? Not that I've seen. Now, there's going to be a bunch of tax stuff this next month. That's why I loaded up on Doge Dividend, the coin. But, yeah, we're going to get a bunch of tax stuff on how they want to restructure things. And, you know, they want to try and do some radical stuff. You know, there's a rumor I saw from Leading Report on how legit it is that Trump wants to up the taxes a little bit on the wealthy. Could you imagine that? Liberals would lose their mind. That would be a crazy, crazy pivot. Do you still think Paul Vier is going to win? Yeah, I do, honestly. I still think he's going to win. It just seems, it seems, you can argue it's fake. You can argue it's not. I mean, they are liberal. Canada is liberal. It's just they've had a situation to where they've had such horrible leadership that's been liberal. And I still think he's probably going to win, but it would be good if he didn't win. It would be good for our country because you'd be dealing with someone that's less Canada first. We don't want to deal with someone that's Canada first. We want them to give us stuff. But I mean, I don't think it's a big difference between either of. Well, it is kind of a difference in terms of immigration. In terms of actual leadership, I'm not sure it's a huge difference, but it's a drastic difference in terms of being able to annex certain provinces if Carney wins. It's not going to happen if Paul Vier wins. Carney will win. It'll cause Wexit. Yeah. It'll cause Alberta to leave if that happens, possibly. I mean, we'll have to see. His polling is going up. Yeah, I know. I mean, who's Carney? I mean, I've looked at this. This is probably the best thing you're going to get is Polymarket. It just gives you kind of a... I mean, it's like 63-37 basically, or 62-38, something like that is what it is. I mean, Carney does keep going up. So we'll have to see. I mean, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and it's in a month. Did you see Canada's 25% tariffs by Angry Mortgage Podcast? Very good point. Yeah, I did see it was going to take time, and I also saw the tariffs on the cars. It's a little bit different because there are some of the car parts apparently, and what they produce in Canada are protected under the trade deal with Mexico and Canada for the United States. So I don't think it necessarily affects as much as liberals in Canada are leading on. I think it's more of a scare tactic there. But I'm going to get to some of this stuff here. Trump with Carney. Actually, we'll just go down here and because there's other stuff. I got a lot of stuff here. Wow. So this was the original thing that Trump. Look at this. Look at what Alberta's paying. $54 billion because of their resources, I guess. Giving up Nova Scotia, New Brunswick, Newfoundland, taking all the money. And then so Trump decides to tweet out this propaganda video.
In the cold silence of the tundra, a bond was born, not from treaties or trade, but from blood and bravery. While Germany controlled Europe, the Nazis set their sights on the Arctic. Greenland became an unwitting combatant, and the United States stepped in, not to conquer, but to protect. In 1943, nearly 1,000 American soldiers with 4 chaplains set sail from New York to Greenland, carrying with them hope, duty, and a quiet fear. But their ship was torpedoed by a Nazi U-boat, and the frigid waters of the North Atlantic became a grave. Those 4 chaplains gave up their life vests, giving their lives so that others might live, to protect America and Greenland. Their sacrifices helped win our freedom, and we will never forget. Together, Americans and Greenlanders stood as sentinels at the top of the world. But today, Greenland faces new threats, from Russian aggression and Chinese expansion. Our shared legacy lives on in every joint mission, every Arctic patrol, every partnership forged in the shadow of melting ice and rising tensions. This is not just history, it is destiny. Now is the time to stand together again. For peace, for security, for the future, America stands with Greenland.
Well, it's like an old school propaganda. Yeah, you talk about Laura Loomer. I'm sick of Laura Loomer as well. Dude, Laura Loomer just constantly bitches about anyone within the Trump administration because she's like been cut off on Trump. So, you know, it's a bitch fest with her and some of the other women. They just like, oh, a cat fight. Like a cat fight with them. She's like, there's a Chinese spy. It's like, you're just pissed off you're not part of the administration. We're annoyed. It's annoying. And people listen to her like, I mean, she's obviously has all this animosity against Trump because I guess she's used to be closer to Trump, and it's just a joke. But I mean, yeah, so in this video, they were like, well, the United States defended Greenland, and that is true because, you know, the Nazis had ambitions in the Arctic, in Antarctica, in Greenland, and they had taken over Denmark for a few years in the 40s, or occupied it. And it was under their government administration, the Nazi party. And so we did go to Greenland to secure the island. So that is true. But it was only a few years. We tried to buy it and it didn't work out, I think in the late 40s after World War II ended. But, you know, this is one of those situations to where it's all posturing, guys. It really is. It's, if we go in there, we could take it over in a millisecond. They don't have an army or anything like that. But you want to do it with some, you know, you want to do it diplomatically, and there's like these negative opinion polls. It's just a propaganda war, and so that's why these people are coming out saying nobody wants this. This is a propaganda war. People in America, if they were educated on how good this is going to be for us if we've got Greenland, this is something you do, and maybe it's not too popular at the time. Down the line, I mean, this is like an Alaska 2.0. It's Alaska but to our east. High T in that video. It's a funny little propaganda video. I think JD Vance was the same exact thing.
In the cold
It's the same exact. Yeah, I mean, dude, they're definitely hitting the propaganda. I mean, they do want Greenland. There's no way, you know, JD Vance is in Greenland for a reason. And so here's Vance. Let's see what he says.
Our message is very simple. Yes, the people of Greenland are going to have self-determination. We hope that they choose to partner with the United States because we're the only nation on earth that will respect their sovereignty and respect their security, because their security is very much our security, as these brave Americans show. Our message is very simple.
Finished speaking with Mark Carney of Canada. Extremely productive call. We agree on many things. We will be meeting immediately after Canada's upcoming election to work on elements of politics, business, and other factors. I mean, so he's basically saying that Carney's going to win. I mean, I guess even if they became the minority party, they could still have some say, but It does seem like that. Canada NDP party has gone from 20% to 6%. What is that? The other Liberal Party? Oh, New Democrat? Yeah, dude. You know, they're coming around the Liberal Party because they think the Conservatives are going to win, so they're all switching. All Trump is doing is enforcing the Monroe Doctrine. Yeah. Greenland is not a state and will never be a state. Well, I agree. Greenland would be a territory, not a state. It doesn't have the population to be a state. Denmark said no twice. Well, why would Denmark have a say? Denmark is holding Greenland against their will. Greenland wants to be independent of Denmark. So see, these arguments fall apart when you start exposing them. It doesn't make any sense. Denmark says no. Well, Greenland doesn't even want to be part of Denmark.
We need Greenland, very importantly, for international security. We have to have Greenland. It's not a question of, do you think we can do without it? We can't. If you look at Greenland right now, if you look at the waterways, you have Chinese and Russian ships all over the place. And we're not going to be able to do that. We're not relying on Denmark or anybody else to take care of that situation.
Right. It's not a question of, do we think we can do without it? We can't. Trump really wants Greenland. He really wants it no matter what. Love your World Trade Center content. Hope to see more of it. Yeah, I mean, those videos, they're a... I mean, I guess I could do some more minor ones. I want to do one on the Bush administration. And that's going to be my next one, is the Bush administration and 9/11. So that'll come out hopefully in the next few days, I would say. Hawk Tua, yeah, I guess they're not charging her. I really don't care, honestly. Did you see Trump direct the propaganda film? Which one? The one that I just showed? It doesn't get any better than this right now. You got a lot more optimism than me, man. I mean, look, I'm glad that Trump's in for sure, but I don't know. You think big picture about the West and the country. Did you hear that they're going to have a Supreme Court election? Yeah, I mean, that's a huge election because liberals are potentially going to gerrymander Wisconsin. So hopefully Schimmel wins against the Susan Crawford, the rabid liberal, and it's going to be a big problem because it is going to be a swing of 4 congressional districts, because Republicans are going to lose 2, Democrats are going to gain 2 if they gerrymander it properly. But those are those special elections, man. I mean, it doesn't look good in terms of the polling. It's just not good. It's just the problem to where, Republicans, they're more beholden to an individual. Democrats are more beholden to a system, which is the Democratic system, the Democratic Party. So they answer pretty much anything. They do all these polls, they do all the special elections and stuff, and the Republicans just don't. Why do we care so much about Arctic waterways? Is it for future shipping routes? Yeah, it's with the climate. It's based on the climate. America can't guarantee security for Ukraine. Why should Greenlanders believe America can guarantee theirs? Well, I mean, you do understand geography. You know where Ukraine is versus where Greenland is. You think it's a little bit easier to secure Greenland than it is Ukraine? Ukraine is bordered by a major adversary of the United States. I mean, guys, let's put on our thinking caps. Have you seen Carl Benjamin's criticism of Trump's actions on Canada? Do things Paul Vier is conservative? Yeah, I mean, obviously conservatives in Canada probably hate Trump because Trump is making it harder for Paul Vier to win. There's no doubt about that. Will the U.S. ever have a 51st state? I mean, eventually, I would imagine. Whether it's Alberta, whether it's Puerto Rico, although I don't think it'll be Puerto Rico, but I mean, eventually, probably they will have a 51st state. But I can't say when that's going to be. How is Trump aging visually? Yeah, I mean, it's with Trump, it's weird. Some days Trump he'll look pretty good. Other days he'll look a bit older. I mean, obviously they got him in a ton of makeup and stuff, and the dude's old. He is, but in terms of his cognitive ability, I think it's still fine. Liberals will overlook at things and say, well, he's slowing down. He said this wrong. He said that wrong. They're always looking for something to hit Trump on. I mean, I don't think he's aging bad at all, especially considering, go back to 2015, 2016, they thought that he'd be in the White House right now, and he'd still look pretty much the same. He just really hasn't aged much. If anything, he looked a little bit better because he's thinner. There's a difference between being able to protect Ukraine and wanting to protect. Well, I mean, yeah, we're going to go to war with Russia. That's a real smart idea over Ukraine. We're the bad guys, even though we're doing things diplomatically. Russia just invades whoever. I know, dude. I know. This is how crazy it is with these people that are like criticizing Trump for doing this. This is as like free as it could possibly get. Like seriously. 57,000 people for the entire country. The country doesn't have a military. They're not even independent. They're owned by another country. That's too small to defend them. And this country is right next to North America. This is as free as it could get, and there's still people saying that this is like, it's a horrible takeover. Like, this is as perfect as a scenario as you would want when it comes to acquiring territory in the 21st century for a country. And it's just people still bitch about it. Could you imagine if they were actually independent? People would lose their minds. But I mean, even still, I guess they're angry about it. But they're not even independent. They're owned by Denmark. You live in Miami. We spent billions on water displacement because of melting ice caps. Won't Greenland's ice melt? Well, that would be significant if it, revealed more natural resources. I don't know the. I mean, if it's a compact glacier that it's going to take a while for it to melt, like many decades. But around the coast it'll melt more. Thoughts on the $1 trillion military budget? I thought it was $850 billion. Possibly to cut spending, but keep military strength, add personnel. In contrast, China is second, only spending $400 billion. Did they up it to $1 trillion? Maybe that's based off inflation. From what I saw, I saw our military budget was $850 billion. Is China seriously at $400 billion in military spending now? I mean, dude, I think like the military is such a major part of our spending. You don't want to cut it because you want influence, but you would have to look at cutting some of the military, man. You would, just because we have no choice. We just keep running up this crazy debt. It's going to get to 40 trillion. Why do we have a giant military if we're not going to use it? Because you don't want to use the military. You don't want wars. I mean, the use of military by the United States is proxy use. We're this powerful, so we get to have military bases around the world. We get certain advantages over countries. It's all proxy use is what you want. China spends their money far more efficiently than we do. Well, look at their setup. We have to put a new leader in every 4 or 8 years, and so there's just so much disruption in terms of how our government is set up versus China. What's the end goal with Greenland and Alberta? Is it just to stir things up, or is it serious? I think Trump's very serious about Greenland. Alberta is just a thought exercise, but that people have come up because it doesn't make sense to add all of Canada. Greenland is what would happen with Greenland is that, listen, look, I don't know if Trump would take it to the point to where there's a military exercise to secure the island. I'm not sure if he would take it to that point, but I mean it's very obvious that Trump wants it. Greenland doesn't want to give it up. Okay, so we can negotiate, which I think would be the next step. But then you also have Denmark there. Is it better to negotiate directly with Denmark? The problem is these European countries hate Trump. They just hate him. So no matter what Trump does, whether it makes sense or it doesn't make sense, because it would make sense for the United States to have control of Greenland, we could secure it a lot better than Denmark. These European countries don't care. They just hate Trump, and they want to do everything that's the opposite of what Trump wants. And if you don't believe, I mean, this is what it is. So, I mean, imagine Obama says we want to buy Greenland. They probably like, oh yeah, let's, it makes sense. The U.S. is such a global power. They can secure it. I mean, this is just the same fucking bullshit. They just don't like Trump. So they throw their arms up. It makes total sense. If Greenlanders vote unanimously to have an American base removed from their lands, you'll comply? No, I mean, that would be very stupid of them anyways. They don't have any military themselves. Special military operations, a military exercise. Trump and Vance are so serious about Greenland, it's actually kind of scary. The situation must be very dire as far as why it's so important. I mean, yeah, well, Vance is not going to go to Greenland during Trump's presidency for no reason. It's just, like, it's obvious they're very serious about acquiring it. But we have to get it to a stage to where it starts, there has to be a nudge with either Denmark or Greenland to be able to do it. Keep worrying about Greenland and Canada and not the economy. The Republicans will lose everything. Well, no, Trump's very worried about the economy. Trump is, look, I've laid it out, the entire economic situation in the United States with where we're at in terms of inflation, the interest rates, what Trump's doing with these tariffs. The tariffs are destabilizing things, but the tariffs are going to calm down after the Liberation Day, which is in like 4 or 5 days, whenever, April 2nd. So, once that happens, and by the way, this is a huge win if this is correct. Look at this. Obama signs a Doge-style executive order to cut waste and promote efficiency. Oh, wow. When you're $14 trillion in debt, you think we should maybe do that? No shit. Like, the idea that Doge would be criticized is just crazy to me. And the debt is, $22 trillion more now. So no, we don't need a government efficiency program, or if we have one, let's hire people that have already destroyed the government and bloated it to get rid of all of that, I guess, because they're mad at Musk being an outsider, like he doesn't have qualifications. No, let's just hire someone that's already destroyed everything to then clean it up. That'll really work. But I mean, how can you criticize it when we're $36 trillion in debt? What do you want us to do? We have to cut things. Time to buy Greenland coin. Yeah, dude, I used to own that coin. I did. I owned a decent amount of that coin too, but I don't have any of it. What do you think of Trump endorsing Lindsey Graham? Lindsey Graham is a pathetic neocon warhawk, but he did come out and support Vance and Trump during that meeting with Zelensky, basically changed 180 probably to get that endorsement. I would say that's probably why he did that. Because remember, Vance had the jousting thing with Zelensky. But what is Zelensky saying? He thinks Putin's going to die now? Did you guys see that? That's what Zelensky said. He's like, well, Putin's going to die soon. What are you talking about, man? I don't know what's happening with that situation. They have a partial... They've got a partial deal there, a ceasefire deal on infrastructure, but I don't know. Putin said that he could destroy the Ukrainians' entire military within like a few weeks. They're just saying a bunch of shit. You're down like 100K since the end of January. Just in the stock market, you're down 100K. Well, you must have a big portfolio. But yeah, I mean, I'm sure it'll recover. But it's going to recover. There was going to be turbulence if you do all these tariffs. It's just the reality. But it's a longer term thing. I mean, you're judging the economy in such a short window. It's impossible to do that. You know, even if the economy was good in these few months, you could give Biden credit for that because, you know, it's like it just takes a really long time for policy from presidents to really affect things significantly in terms of, it depends what policy it is, but just it's a longer period. However much Denmark wants for Greenland, we should take it out of our defense spending. I'm not sure we're going to have to pay Denmark anything. It'll just depend. Because you could either buy it from Denmark, or you could have Greenland become independent of Denmark and then acquire it straight from the people of Greenland. But yeah, I mean, it would be taken out of defense. I mean, you know, Trump's already made so much money, you know, and generated revenue with all of this investment and these gold cards and stuff. They've also cut $100 billion, $200 billion in waste and fraud spending. So, you know, they've cut enough to where they can go out and do this and it can be defended. It's not a big problem as long as it's not a crazy asking price. So it's on the Bulls buzzer beater. Yeah, I saw that half court shot. That's pretty crazy. Yeah, here it is right here. This is Carney Polvier. Carney now in the red. Yeah, so the Liberal Party's in the red. And this is the projection on the seats. You need 172 for a majority. They're at 187. This would be a big thing for us if this happened for sure. Either one, there's pros and cons to the Conservative Party versus the Liberal Party winning. Arizona got screwed yesterday. Dude, these college games, you know, this high scoring, the up-tempo stuff, it's trickling into college. You've got Alabama scoring 113 points and with no overtime. It's crazy. 113 to 88, 40-minute game, no overtime. Wow. 40-minute game. You know, because that's what college is. So it's remarkable. Even the Duke Arizona game, 193. What would happen if we took Greenland with military force in less than 24 hours? Yeah, I mean, Europe would respond negatively. They would probably hit us with some type of sanction or something. I mean, what can they really do? We're already self-sufficient enough. Do you think the U.S. would do a coup in Ukraine to kick Zelensky out of power since he doesn't want to negotiate and making threats to the people in the Ukrainian government who want him out? Yeah, I know. I just don't know how many people actually want him out within Ukraine. Listen, if 80% of the Ukrainians and people in Ukraine's government want him out, they should remove him. But I don't think it's that high. It's impossible to say. I mean, they're still in a war situation, so how are you going to factor any of that in. The country is so destabilized, Ukraine is. But Zelensky, you have to think that he is posturing with the support of Europe. That would be my guess. Because it's not like they have the military to do anything at this point. The only way they would have any power in terms of military is if they got NATO troops, which is not going to happen. At least we hope it's not going to happen. But they would have already sent them in if they were really that scared about Russia, the NATO troops from Europe. We better get Greenland or Alberta. Well, I mean, I think Alberta's hard, man, because unless Carney wins, it's going to be very hard. It's not really going to happen, honestly. Look, Trudeau resigns, and then it just tanks completely. I mean, it was really when Trudeau resigned. And then it's also Trump. You know, it's a combination of them, of the two, for the Liberal Party. Greenland will just define Gen Z and Alpha. I don't know about that, man. I mean, it's an Arctic territory. I mean, you have to wonder if other major countries get grabby. I mean, Russia's already done it. They're annexing land in Ukraine. So Putin said that he's like, I understand what the United States is doing, and so we have a good relationship with Putin. We do. It is what it is. We're trying to get along with these people to prevent war. Ukraine wants peace. Russia doesn't. In fact, look it up. Putin's stalling. Well, he might be stalling and try and get better position for a peace deal. So are you comfortable with taking Alberta? It's still leftist compared to a light blue U.S. state. No, it's not. It's conservative. Alberta is like, it's comparable in terms of how I think they would vote. You could argue Texas. You could argue Ohio. It's like, I think it's an 8 to 10 point Trump win if Alberta. It certainly isn't anything crazy conservative to where it's a guarantee Republican, but it's conservative, I would say. Greenland is like a poker chip the EU would hate to give up. Yeah, I mean, I guess. And we would be taking it for basically nothing. But I guess it depends if we do a deal with Denmark or with Greenland directly. Would Alberta be America's horn? How does that look on a map with just Alberta? Yeah, it looks weird. That's why you would want at least Alberta and Saskatchewan. But I mean, whether it looks weird or not, I mean, you might just leave them as a territory. Honestly, they're going to be a territory for at least like a 4 or 5 year period. I feel like, in terms of the statehood. Zelensky says he doesn't recognize the aids as loans. Yeah, I know. Didn't he say that like 2 months ago though? He just repeated himself. But I mean, wasn't that the whole thing? He was like, well, they're grants, not loans, so we don't have to pay them back. And then Trump says, no, you do. And then that's when the minerals deal was going to happen. So I mean, what's going on? Now the minerals deal's not happening. Is it happening? Is it, this all takes time, but it's like, a pain in the ass. Doesn't look as weird as Alaska. Yeah, but Alaska's not really connected. You can kind of get away with positioning it on the map easier because it's not connected to the lower 48. The lower 48's just compacting together, and then you can put Alaska and Hawaii really wherever you want. Trump even called Carney a prime minister, not a governor. Yeah, you're right. It's like a show of respect that he didn't give Trudeau. You know, he obviously wants Carney to win. I think it's understandable. How's the process of becoming a state versus territory? Well, I think they automatically would be a territory if we annex them. But then there's a process required in terms of being granted statehood. And there's like a number of things, including population, that you have to check off and stuff. Do they have a lot of debt? Which obviously would not be a big problem. You know, Puerto Rico, I think, has a lot of debt. That's one of the problems with them being a state. And just also, I think their first language is not even English. Alberta, BC, Yukon makes the land bridge. Yeah, I know. Well, that's why you would want all those areas. If you wanted to connect Alaska to the lower 48, it would be you would have to bring in Yukon at least, and then BC as well. But in BC, it's hard to even get a like they got some really mountainous terrain, so it would be hard to get highway systems through that. But then if you take Alberta, it would definitely all connect. But you would just need BC and Yukon. When does the bull run start? I don't know, man. You know, I'm thinking about it. It's like, you know, we need to really start kicking it up at some point. Hopefully in the summer, like we start getting a more bullish price action. Technically, if you look at the 4-year cycle, we still have like it's not supposed to happen until the fall to the early winter. But like it's supposed to happen this year. So if it doesn't start soon, I'm starting to think you know, there might be a bit of an issue with this cycle. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I think we still have time. You know, we still have time, but it's going to have to happen soon. I want some of these coins to start running soon so they can be in better positions when it actually happens. And, you know. Canada is cooked. Even Paul Villiers supports trans kids. Go Carney. Yeah, I mean, Paul Villiers is a really milquetoast conservative. We knew that, though. Any conservative in Canada is going to be a very light conservative. What the fuck what is a woman? I know, like, you know, that culture war shit is just annoying. What is a woman? We're going to do that again. What did Trump say something about it? People want it played. Yeah, I know. Nunavut is a phenomenal territory to own. That's the territory right next to Greenland. Should the U.S. build a border wall around the Greenland cities, giving a 100-mile buffer, and then annex the rest of the island? Well, I don't think it wouldn't be like that. There's no reason to do that. We could annex the northern part of Greenland, I guess you're saying, as a compromise. But we're not going to build any type of walls or anything like that. What this has really shown is how seriously weakened Canada is due to liberal policies. this was a minor stress test and they failed miserably. Lessons for the U.S. Well, yeah, I mean, you look at Canada and how liberal they've gone. They're a lot more on par with a European country as opposed to us, to where I think a key example would be, and we are like, we've embraced this too. I mean, whether you think we've gone fully like with liberalism or not, we are headed down that path, just a lot slower. And it's not just going to be Trump that fixes it. Like, it's a long-term thing. But the problem is we get the liberal, then conservative, then liberal, then conservative, then liberal, and it just slowly, we just fall into the abyss. It just takes a long time to dig out. I mean, there's like 4 or 5 different huge pillars of major problems within the United States, and these are problems that cannot be tackled with one administration. It's not possible. They're all problems that I think need to be handled by a right-wing government, but we're not going to get a right-wing government for 30 straight years. Should we be worried about the Wisconsin Supreme Court vote? Yes. Yes, it's not looking good, and they're going to gerrymander 2 seats, and it's going to be a problem for the 2026 midterms when it comes to the House. But the problem is with Republicans, they just don't show up when it comes to these off-year elections. It's a tale as old as time, or at least like the past decade or so, they haven't shown up. So it's a big issue. I mean, I don't have a lot of faith Republicans are going to win that race. Schimmel's going to win that race. It's just, that doesn't look good in terms of the, like, there's at least 8 or 9 polls, and it's all like the aggregate's like +7 for the Democrats. Now, you could say those polls, it's like the sample's not great. They're more sporadic, but is Alberta the most pro-American province? Yeah, they're the most conservative province. AOC looks strong to be a candidate for 2028. I mean, yeah, being a candidate's one thing. There's probably going to be 15 or 16 Democratic candidates. You know, being a candidate is kind of irrelevant. It's not irrelevant, but Tim Walz is going to be a candidate. You think he's going to do anything? Fuzzy, Greenland only has, 57,000 people. We could give each citizen $250K and could get for a bargain. I know people have suggested doing that. It's just bribing them if you wanted to do something like that. So yeah, we'd have to approach them. That would have to change. That's why I'm talking about. There needs to be an offer, a formal offer to buy the. But the problem is, we really actually can't offer Greenland that right now, because they are part of Denmark. So they have to become independent of Denmark, and then we can offer it. We could technically offer it and say, listen, leave them, and then we'll give you this. The Hawk Tuah news. I mean, what is the news on Hawk Tuah? She's not facing a lawsuit or something. Who really gives a shit? Western Canada is more aligned than Eastern Canada with the United States. I agree. Do you think Vance had talks with the Greenland Prime Minister? I think there had to have been closed door meetings with someone within their government, you would hope. I know they tried to shut that out and said, no, they're not welcome here. I mean, you would hope if Vance is visiting there, there's going to be some form of meetings. And if there wasn't, honestly, then that's a problem within the Trump administration, because you have to be able to communicate to these people that we're very interested, we can seriously help your country out, and we can make a major investment, so that you would think they would have to listen. Give them some. Well, their infrastructure would have to be upgraded anyways. Your friend from Iran. What's up, man? I see you in here a few times. Yeah, hopefully Iran doesn't become a story here for the Trump administration. It would not be good for him. Would not be good for his approval rating at all. You know that. Yeah, it is a steal for the rare earths. That's the thing with the rare earths. It's trillions of dollars in rare earths we'll be able to mine, hopefully. But it would take time. Yeah, I know. That's the thing, that the new Democratic Party's decline in Canada. You're right. You're right, but you know what? They've done a good job of like telling them you're voting for nothing. You vote for the New Democrats. The Conservatives are going to win. So they're forming the coalition together. What does Denmark and their 7,000 man army go to? Yeah, they don't even have an army. They there is no, the defense of Greenland would have to be by European NATO countries. That's why France said they were going to send troops to NATO or to Greenland to defend it. It's a joke. California activists proposed Luigi Mangione Act to try and make it harder for insurers to deny medical care. Well, I mean, I'm not gonna sit here and act like the insurance it's completely fucked up in this country. It is. It's fucked beyond repair. But I mean, they made that the dude who murdered someone by shooting them in the back of the head a hero. It's a coward action. Either way, America should get out of NATO immediately. Well, no, I think you leverage NATO. You can leverage NATO in a way to either, get something from Russia. Like if we leave NATO, we want this from Russia because Russia would love it, I'm sure. But we would want to get something in exchange for leaving NATO. We wouldn't just want to leave and get nothing for it. And I think Trump knows that. Or we say we're staying in NATO, but we want something from the EU. Because of our power, we can demand things. It would be bad to get into a conflict when Trump talks about peace. Well, a conflict with who? You're talking about on Greenland? I don't think there'd be a conflict. Came to Canada under Harper. It was a great country. Now it's a shithole. Yeah, the Liberals took over. It's no surprise. Give it like 10 years and you'll see with Liberal leadership. Macron is such a bitch boy. Sent $6 billion to Ukraine versus U.S. $170 billion. Thinks they can fall like Trump. Yeah, I mean that was just such an ignorant thing he said about sending troops to Greenland. Just a disrespectful to the United States and what we've done for NATO. All right.
This territory, Greenland, really matters for the security of the United States. It's extremely vulnerable right now. And if the people of Greenland were willing to partner with the United States, and I think that they ultimately will partner with the United States, we could make them much more secure. We could do a lot more protection. And I think they'd fare a lot better economically as well. This has to happen. And the reason it has to happen,
This has to happen.
say it, is because our friends in Denmark have not done their job in keeping this area safe. They just haven't done it. It's very simple. For all of our friends in the American media who attack the administration for pointing out the obvious, what is the alternative? To give up the North Atlantic? To give up the Arctic? To China, to Russia, and to other regimes that don't have the best interest of the American people at heart? We have no other option. We need to take a significant position in Greenland to keep the people here safe, but to keep our own country safe too.
Yeah, well, Vance is really hitting them with it. Look at this. Tim Walz suggests Democrats lost in 2024 because they weren't bold enough in advocating for progressive policies like DEI. So in essence, the policies that everyone hated, they should have pushed them even further. will become more powerful than ever. Yeah, right, man. After Brexit. What has Denmark not done exactly for that America is promising the people of Greenland? They don't have the money to invest into the country. They've got a terrible infrastructure. They've got very low quality of living. But of course they do. Look at Denmark's economy. How are they going to support another country? It's ridiculous. If Western Canada becomes a state, so we can stay at 50, which one should lose statehood? Delaware, Rhode Island? Well, based on the size, it would be Rhode Island. But, I mean, does it really matter? I would say you go from 50 to 52. I don't really like an odd number of states. But I guess it doesn't really matter, does it? But I would say go to... FanDuel has NDP 15 or more seats at plus 1900. Yeah, well, there's a correlation. All those people are voting, obviously, for the Liberal Party now. They don't want conservatives in. Thoughts on Bill Maher having dinner with Trump? I really don't care. Denmark's economy is strong. Look it up. Well, then that's even worse because then they're really not helping Greenland out enough. That's the problem. Their economy's strong. Yeah, let's compare their economy to the United States. That's a good idea. Signal coin. Is it up again? It's probably at 0, man. Nobody's talking about that anymore. Without like, what is with this? These boomers are like liberal now. This is happening in the United States too. Boomers are liberal. I don't know the exact numbers on like the 65 plus group, but it's pretty crazy. Like, I think it was +1 for Kamala, honestly. Boomers are liberal now. You have to break Alberta into 4 or 5 states. It's not going to happen. There's not a big enough population to break it like that. Will Alberta go Dem so they can force their way out of Canada? No, this is not. It's not that crazy, man. That would be insane if they voted Dem just to leave. No, they're definitely going to vote Alberta, Saskatchewan for sure. Manitoba, I would imagine as well. All going to vote conservative leaning in this election. Sean, I appreciate it. 8 years of MAGA, 8 years of Vance. We would fundamentally change the United States, MAGA forever. Sean, I appreciate it, man. What if the U.S. annexed Israel? That's not going to happen. The U.S., hopefully there's minimal involvement in the Middle East. After this situation with Palestine ends, that's the hope. But it's not looking like that with the Iran situation. Because boomers respect the foundation of their old world order. That you don't increase your territory through invasion. Well, that's been happening since the beginning of time as territorial changes. But I mean, we're not even talking about American, this is about liberals in Canada. I'm not even talking about America. The conservatives in Canada are not trying to expand their borders. These boomers all over the place are liberal. Opinion on RFK? There was a funny thing with RFK.
I got to know, I said to Dr. Morris, or Governor Morrissey, the first time I saw him, I said, "You look like you ate Governor Morrissey." and there was a lot of talk about getting healthy again, and I'm very happy that he's invited me to be his personal trainer. And I am going to put him... I'm going to put him on a really rigorous regimen. And we're going to put him on a carnivore diet. We're going to make him raise your hand if you want Governor Morrissey to do a public weigh-in once a month. And then when he's lost 30 pounds, I'm going to come back to the state and do a celebration and a public weigh-in with him. I got to know.
There's a lot of people in the country that need that, for sure. The obesity rates, really in the West in general, but in the United States, they're out of control.
We had a very good conversation. Mark called me today at 10 o'clock. We put out a statement. We had a very, very good talk. He's going through an election now, and we'll see what happens. But we have Liberation Day, as you know, on April 2nd, and I'm not referring to Canada, but many countries have taken advantage of us, the likes of which nobody even thought was possible for many, many decades, And, that has to stop. We're going to end up with a very good relationship with Canada and a lot of the other countries. Some we probably won't. It won't be so pleasant. But I think most countries are agreeing with me. Many of them have actually apologized. They said, look, we have taken advantage. And I don't blame them as much as I blame the people that stood, in this case I can say the men, because so far they've been all men, haven't they? But the men that sat right there and behind the Resolute desk, mostly the Resolute desk.
Well, I mean, and I heard something, I don't know if this is true, but apparently there are several countries that are ready to get rid of their tariffs. They know Liberation Day is coming. They're going to remove their tariffs against the United States before it even happens. Vietnam already did this, but there might be several other EU countries doing this. So this is a huge win for Trump if it happens before Liberation Day, because then it did its job. We're just putting reciprocal tariffs on all the countries that are tariffing us. If they take theirs off, then we don't have to put any tariffs on. And so this is going to be a major coup for Trump. I can tell it's going to be very, very good. I see your donation, man. Alberta and Saskatchewan secede, and British Columbia becomes its own country, and Yukon and Northwest Territories become a state or are absorbed into Alaska. Well, it'd be Greater Alaska then. Now, I really wouldn't do that. I wouldn't make any of those territory states. They would just stay territories. And you want British Columbia to be its own country. I'm not sure it can function as its own country. I don't know their economic situation, but also they would need protection from someone. BC could be put under tremendous pressure if isolated. I know that's why I'm saying it makes more sense just to acquire them as well. It'd just be a weird thing. I mean, honestly, for conservatives, it would be better if they just stayed part of independent or part of Canada, just because of how liberal they are. Yeah, it seems like Trump's trying to have a better relationship with Carney. Is that all of it?
Today, President Trump and I spoke on the phone. We had a very constructive discussion, and we agreed to begin comprehensive negotiations about a new economic and security relationship between our two sovereign countries immediately following the federal election. I made it clear that I will be working very hard with my colleagues behind me. I will be working very hard over the next month to earn the right to represent Canada in those discussions.
Have I noticed the AI image? Yeah, the generated images. I've noticed that. I mean, everyone's had to have noticed that. They're all over the place now. Do you buy what Zelensky's saying Putin is close to death? No, I don't. It's fear-mongering. Aviation in the U.S. ain't looking so good, and it's only March. You know that's fake, right? That's a liberal tactic, because they said that Trump got rid of, air traffic controllers, and then they researched and looked at the total crashes, and it's like 1/20th of the total crashes. It's fake. He just said the relationship was over. Dude, the guy is just you can't take him seriously. He just looks he's like a little bot. Yeah, he's a robot. Mark knows Trump can destroy their economy. Well, it's always been the case. They just wanted to see, their goal was to put pressure on Trump with negative price action within the stock market, negative propaganda by liberals within the United States on the tariffs being bad, to see if Trump would remove them quickly, and it didn't. I mean, to a degree, it did happen, but also there are some tariffs that have remained in place, especially against Canada. So I think the only way to get most of these tariffs gone is a renegotiated trade agreement. Pepe, what's up, man? He said the relationship was like irreversibly changed or some shit. I think that's what he used, something like that. It's all fear-mongering. The Liberal Party has to fear-monger like that because it's good. It really helps them in terms of winning. Imagine he does this. Dude, this would be great for me. Like the top 0.5%. Bernie Sanders would come out against this. Now he'd have to support it. You don't think JD can keep the MAGA movement alive? Tucker or Bannon? Well, not Bannon. No, not Bannon. Tucker, yeah, I would say Tucker probably fits the mold. Tucker's been really, a lot more right-wing with the Israel stuff recently. But I think Tucker would fit the mold in terms of like the MAGA movement over Vance. But obviously Vance is, he's the VP, so he's next in line, and he's getting valuable experience right now. How bad do you think the market will be hit on April 2nd? I mean, I think it's probably gonna go down a bit. I don't know how much. I don't think it's going to be as bad as I originally thought. I'll say that. But you know how it's been. I wonder how it was this week. Yeah, pretty. Kind of a negative week. Yeah, these markets are not doing well, and it's no surprise as to why. It's a turbulent time, and it is created by Trump. But again, you can't really comparing it for a week or for a month is ridiculous. And saying, well, the economy sucks because of this, you got to allow it play out over years. You want Canada and Greenland either free or by force? Well, we don't really want Canada. We don't think Canada would we wouldn't want Canada, all of it. I wouldn't want all of Canada. It would not be good to acquire that many liberal-minded people. But Greenland, I'll agree with you. Did you see the building collapses due to the earthquakes? Yeah, I saw that. Or I saw, dude, they kept showing, like they got all these rooftop pools and the water pouring down, and the crane collapse. I saw that. Any more Epstein files coping from Pam Bondi? I haven't heard her say anything on the files in the past few days. It's hopefully something comes out. There's really nothing I can tell people except I hope something comes out. That's basically it. I thought this already happened. Revoke security clearance. Musk sold X to his own AI company. Yeah, that's what people were saying in the chat. You don't understand why people are saying Trump shouldn't do this right now? You're talking about the tariffs and stuff like that? Yeah, whenever there's going to be negative a negative economic situation, you want it to be in an off year. So it's an off year. And you want it as early as possible too, so you can set yourself up in the back half of his term. So that's why this is all happening. $1 billion profit? Yeah, but no, he just sold it to himself. He did that as a troll. $1 billion profit. 44 to 45. Can you do a video on China buying land next to a sensitive air bases in North Dakota? Well, that should be illegal. You know, I thought they were going to make that illegal. They're still doing that right now? Or are they, I thought they were making that illegal and they were going to just kick China out. Is Doge going to fix elections eventually? I mean, you need Congress for that, unfortunately. It can't just be done by Trump. I mean, it is obvious that it should that we do need it fixed, and the counting and just how these other countries count outrageous numbers of votes. There's no excuse for it. And you know, Newsom had his podcast and whatever, and one of the dudes on his podcast was talking to him about it, and he can't excuse. He's like, yeah, I know it's terrible because there's no excuse. It shouldn't take you 4 weeks to count, you know, however many votes. Ridiculous. Countries count 70 million, 100 million votes in like 4 hours. What is up with Russia threatening Trump over Greenland? Well, no, I saw Putin said that it was a pretty positive statement from what I saw. Putin said that the United States has historical ties to the land and basically said we're not going to interfere. But I do think when it comes to like Doge dividend and anything with that in terms of Trump's like plan with taxes, because it's tax season coming up, I would imagine we're probably going to hear something about that. Now, obviously, it's not going to impact the taxes this year, but going forward, just because the taxes are going to be in the news and everything like that, that's what I would say. The final shutdown, well, there's $20 billion saved. Yeah, there's some weird trolls. There's people that want me to ban other people and things like that. I mean, I really haven't seen any issues with the chat tonight, honestly. There's some people that don't like Trump. I mean, as long as you're not an ass about it, you have to let them say it. But I mean, if they start harassing, then I'll kick them. But trust me, if they're trolling, and people get mad, I'll kick them. But if I see it, it's not too bad. I mean. U.S. should have kept Greenland at the conclusion of World War II. Absolutely. Absolutely, that would have been, and it would have made sense totally, even back in those days in the late 40s. We should be friends with Russia. Well, it's not even about being friends with Russia. We just don't want to be mortal enemies, so we start World War III. We don't want to be moral enemies with these countries. It's not healthy. It's not healthy for the future. Doge checks, Mike. Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Listen, I think there's going to be something that comes out about that in the next few weeks. They said there's going to be something that comes out. Oh my god, dude, this is like...
What is a woman, and why is it important that we understand the difference between men and women?
Well, it's sort of easy to answer for me, because a woman is somebody that can have a baby under certain circumstances. She has a quality. A woman is a person who's much smarter than a man, I've always found. A woman is a person that doesn't give a man even a chance of success. And a woman's a person that in many cases has been treated very badly, because I think that what happens with this crazy issue of men being able to play in women's sports is just ridiculous and very unfair to women and very demeaning to women. And that's got to be about a 94%. I read today it was a 94% issue. And I watched the other day, a congressman, a Democrat congressman, fighting for the fact that men should be allowed to compete essentially in women's sports. And I say, I hope they keep that going, because they'll never win another election. That's a big deal. But women are basically incredible people, do so much for our country, and we love our women, and we're going to take care of our women. Yeah.
Well, there you go. There's your big clip. People wanted that clip. What do Trump supporters make of discussing war plans in WhatsApp? It was Signal. But no, that's a common thing because the Signal message delete, you know, a lot of that happens. That was over. They overdid that and they act like it's this crazy thing. That's normally where a lot of those things happen. But I think it was bad and it shouldn't happen again. You think the Signal thing was absolutely dumb and behind the scenes Trump was furious? Yeah, and there was no accountability. That's the problem. But the thing is with the Signal stuff, it doesn't even matter. Nobody's talking about it. It does matter if there's another issue. If there's another issue, then it's going to be a big problem. That's why I said 2 days ago people would forget about it. And it just as long as there's not another issue about it, it goes away. Hate the feminist pandering, but yeah, I mean this type of stuff, it's whatever. I mean, isn't it like a Women's History Month or something in March? Thoughts on if Canada were to split into 2 different countries instead of just joining the United States as a state? What would be pros and cons of having 2 different Canadian countries? Well, it would be significant. I think it would be very good for Alberta. They would be the one that would benefit the most and trade with the United States for oil and natural gas. They would be the western side of Canada. We'd be able to do a lot more with them than the eastern. The Signal issue has died down. Yeah, it's the news stream. Heard the Signal was set up by Biden with backdoor access. If true, that reporter needs jailed. Yeah, I don't think so. I feel like that's Trump cope, honestly. Maybe, who knows? The entire Trump cabinet were Democrats in the 80s, 90s. Yeah, it shows you how left the country's gone. The crazy the Democratic Party doesn't have a leader. Yeah, it's either AOC or Jasmine Crockett. No, they haven't found their leader. We'll see if they end up finding someone. Would you rather smash Catherine Levitt or KJP, Karine Jean-Pierre you're talking about? Well, isn't Karine Jean-Pierre lesbian, or she was like dating Peter Dosey? Remember that? remember when that came out? No, I'm kidding. That didn't happen. Ooh. Show us the Canada election projection map by each seat instead of province. What do you mean? Is it on here? Maybe if I go back to here. No, this is not what I wanted to go to. Where was that one? How did I get to that one page that one time? Like a global election. I think it was a global. No, it's not global elections. I don't know. I there was like a different format that you could get from this, but I don't know how I got to it. All right, I got to take a piss.
Safe. And, One of the things I heard was, well, what about the many Danes who lost their lives in the war on terror fighting alongside the United States? Well, look, we obviously honor the sacrifice of our Danish friends in the war on terror 20 years ago, just as, for example, the French honor the sacrifice of Americans in Normandy 80 years ago. But recognizing that there are important security partnerships in the past does not mean that we can't have disagreements with allies in the present about how to preserve our shared security for the future. And that's what this is about. There is no amount of bullying, no amount of obfuscating, no amount of confusing the issue. Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have underinvested in the people of Greenland, and you have underinvested in the security architecture of this incredible, beautiful landmass filled with incredible people. That has to change. And safe. And one of the things I heard was, well, what about the many Danes who lost their lives in the war on terror fighting alongside the United States? Well, look, we obviously honor the sacrifice of our Danish friends in the war on terror 20 years ago, just as, for example, the French honor the sacrifice of Americans in Normandy 80 years ago. But recognizing that there are important security partnerships in the past does not mean that we can't have disagreements with allies in the present about how to preserve our shared security for the future. And that's what this is about. There is no amount of bullying, no amount of obfuscating, no amount of confusing the issue. Our message to Denmark is very simple. You have not done a good job by the people of Greenland. You have
Yeah, I didn't know it was on a loop. Solution for Western Canada as its own country. Alberta, Western Territory secede from Canada. Create an alliance with the U.S. Yeah, I mean it's possible. You know, if they do become independent, they would have to at least have a relation, like a nice economic alliance with the United States. I would say for sure. Yeah, did you see this? This boomed. Man, this actually went this high because Trump tweeted about it. How's the bracket? My bracket's pretty good, honestly. I'm not even lying, man. Come on, bro. My bracket is, well, actually, this game doesn't matter because I already got both teams wrong. What's the other game that's happening? Man, Tennessee is... Yeah, this is good for me. Yeah, I've got Tennessee. So I've got Tennessee as an Elite Eight team. I've got both of these Elite Eight teams. I need Houston to win, obviously. And then I need Auburn to beat Michigan. 92nd percentile. But I mean, listen, we know what it's going to come down to. We know it's going to come down to the national champion pick. That's it. So many people picked Duke. So many people picked Auburn. So many people picked Florida. You should do a bingo thing, acquiring Greenland, getting Western Canada. I don't know if any of that's going to happen, at least in the short term. Yeah, I would imagine Eric Trump is probably behind that coin, honestly. The Trump coin. Certainly wasn't Donald. I mean, he just did it because he was going to make money off of it. That's what I would say on that. You were accepted to go to Houston, but you were scared to go there because of people getting robbed. Yeah, Houston, I mean, that's not surprising. It's a huge liberal city. They're getting robbed on the campus of Houston, too. Ultimate conspiracy iceberg vid? Dude, that would take me... That'd be probably like a 3-hour video if I did it right. There's no way. Well, Duke doesn't even play tonight. They played last night. Yeah, Duke is probably going to... They're probably going to beat Alabama, but Bama's got a really good offense. But I think they're like 6.5-point favorites over Bama, if I had to guess. Yeah, I mean, Duke's 34% chance. Duke and Florida are going to have the best because they both advanced already. Who's going to have the highest chances? They're the 1 seeds that advanced. USS Liberty. The Israel ship. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll do a video on that. I mean, I want to do a video on the Bush administration and 9/11, honestly. John Calipari is a choker. I needed him to choke because I had Texas Tech. I have Texas Tech in the Final Four, so I needed it. I needed it really badly. Ethereum above $2,000. Come on, man. This is sad. Not good. Kentucky is cooked. Yeah, Kentucky was getting destroyed when I looked, man. They were down by 17. But I got Tennessee going, so I'm pretty happy about that. You get any NPC coin? No, I missed it. Remember, I mean, NPC, if you got into NPC, but I think it's been doing shit recently. I never really looked at it much. It's down under 100 mil. Hopefully this has the history on it. Yeah, what was it even at? Yeah, that's great, man. This is what we need. Dude, we need a chart like this. We got to find a coin that's like right here. So I get 562K. This thing hits 500 million. 500x. Yeah, 500x. Everyone seems to have given up on Auburn. Well, it's just because of the way they closed the season. They didn't close the season, but I mean, everyone thinks they're going to beat Michigan. They're like 8-point favorites over Michigan. It certainly feels that way. On Ethereum, it's just no movement. I mean, rapid response it's like
We're landing right now.
Mr. President, do you plan to take Greenland by force?
Does today's inflation report impact?
We're landing right now. No, I don't want to see anybody get hurt.
We don't want to see you get hurt.
Have a good time.
Thank
Good
you,
luck,
Mr.
everybody.
President.
Good luck. Sit
Thank
down.
you.
and there's some turbulence on that flight too. Man, egg prices are lower now. That should help Trump's approval rating. Kelsey said this may be his last season. You think it's for the better? Who, Travis Kelsey? I thought Travis Kelsey should have retired in at the end of this year. He's washed. But he does need to retire. So he'll have his little going out party. Do you think North and South Korea would be reunified? I don't think so, man. I think if North Korea does something really dumb, they might get blown up. North Korea is like a ticking time bomb. You just can't take them seriously, but you do don't know what's going to happen with them. You think Trump will annex China? That's real. That's gonna happen. Yeah, within the next 2 months, it's expected. I highly doubt the Eagles are gonna win again, man. It's just so hard to repeat. I never pick teams to repeat just because it's so hard. Man, this was last year. I thought this was like 5 months ago.
First and foremost, as I said in my speech, and I wish I had had more time, but, you know, I have to get to work. But President Trump has always been the biggest mentor.
I find the American media. There has been an expansion of the security footprint and the security interest of Russia and China. They're doing what they believe is in their interest. The United States must do what I know is in our interest, which is to make sure that Greenland is safe. If Greenland doesn't have self-determination, if the people of Greenland have their future controlled by the Chinese Communist Party, it's not going to make their lives better off, and most importantly, it's going to make American and world national security, world security, much, much weaker. We can't, we in some ways need to wake up. We need to wake up from a failed 40-year consensus that said that we could ignore the encroachment of powerful countries as they expand their ambitions. We can't just bury our head in the sand, or in Greenland, bury our head in the snow and pretend that the Chinese are not interested in this very large landmass. We know that they are. They've taken steps to put Greenland in ridiculous debt traps to invest and exploit the resources here. And we know that they're sending a lot of military resources here. Yes, over the medium term, the United States will meet that challenge. We will put our own resources here. We already have a lot of great resources here, but we know we're going to have to do more to counter.
You ask, what is Denmark doing in Greenland? They're doing nothing. They're doing nothing. They give them subsidies. That's about it. I mean, what can they do? Which Greenland coin is the correct one? Because the one you showed a few minutes back isn't the same one you showed in your crypto video. No, that is the same one. That's the only one I show. That is the same exact one, bro. Yeah, this is the correct green. This is the one that this is the only main Greenland coin that has an actual price history. That this was one where I bought like way back here. I probably bought it like right here. And I held for a while. Buy low, sell low. That's my motto. Buy when it's low, let it go up, hold it, and then sell when it's low. I'm just joking, but Oh, I want Greenland just as much as you want Trump 2028. Yeah, Greenland's more likely to happen than that, brother. I don't know, maybe we'll have to give, maybe with all these territorial expansions, we'll have to just give Trump an honorary third term. Annex Canada, Greenland, the Panama Canal. I mean, that's kind of what Trump wants to do. The Panama Canal zone. And how many clips do you got of JD Vance? What the fuck?
Thank you for your service to our country, wherever it is, whatever it takes. And I think we see right here in this beautiful air base in the high Arctic what energy can do. We can make a tough high Arctic environment a beautiful place to live, a comfortable place to live, all sorts of scientific instrumentation, military mission to monitor what's going on in the world. None of this was possible not long ago. President Trump was elected to re-energize America, to take the beauty that you've seen up here and make that a thing of pride and ambition again, not shaming of energy, not trying to stop its growth and its prosperity, but to re-energize it. So energy makes the world a beautiful place to live. It makes us comfortable and have long opportunities.
Look at these soldiers stationed at the military base in Greenland. They're like, wait, why the fuck is JD Vance coming here?
Opportunity-rich lives. I'm thrilled and proud to be part of this administration with President Trump and Vice President Vance. Thank you all for your service.
Dude, liberals hate Pete Hegseth.
It's great, thank you.
It's always sunny when they go to Greenland. It's nice weather. You watched a video of James Polk on your flight. He loved annexation. It was also a different time when he was president, but we don't do a ton of annexation of countries anymore, and when we try to, it becomes an issue, which is understandable, I guess. You think we'll have Greenland by the summer? Yeah, I mean, something's going to have to happen. I think it'll take some time to get the ball rolling, but they're trying to get the ball rolling at least. If JD isn't the Republican nominee in 2028, who else would it be? Yeah, it's whoever Trump endorses. So it's probably going to be Vance. That'd be my guess. I mean, Vance is like the mainstream candidate. You have like wild cards potentially, like Tucker Carlson, but I don't think he'll run. You've got all the establishment. You've got like the Rubio. You've got Nikki Haley if she wants to run again. You've got Ted Cruz. You've got Don Jr. as a wild card, but obviously his dad would have to be on board, and that's not going to happen. I mean, it's just based off of where the party is. It's a MAGA party, so whatever Trump wants, it's probably going to be Vance. Vance is the VP. He's young. Trump endorsed him obviously by picking him to be VP. If we do Trump 2028, if Trump gets Greenland and Canada, but maybe other nations where fear Trump more, know that he's not a lame duck, can get 4 more years. What do you mean lame duck? Nobody's thinking about Trump as a lame duck, bro. I mean, obviously he'll be a lame duck in, 2029 or 2028 to 20, but it's. DeSantis at the bottom of the pile. Yeah, I can't see DeSantis doing anything. You don't think Rubio's ready? Yeah, Rubio. I don't think Rubio's ever going to be the nominee, the Republican nominee. Switch to Rumble. I don't like Rumble as a interface, honestly. That's always been my problem with Rumble. Plus, I mean, I have all my supporters here. Why would I switch to Rumble? Doesn't make sense. Huh. When will we do a video on the Great Replacement? You know, I had a script for that, but I never did it. It was like half of a video. I don't think I'll ever do, or anytime soon. I don't think I'll ever do a video on that. At least not right now. Yeah, I just can't see I just can't see them picking anyone else out right now outside of Vance. But there's almost no point in talking about it because it's like the administration will do whatever they do. If Trump has a decent approval rating, you know, Vance will be the candidate. If something happens with the administration where there's turmoil, they might go a different route. MAGA gets usurped by something. I don't know. Seems basically impossible, though. What if Dems run Brad Pitt or George Clooney? Yeah, Clooney seems like he wants to be in politics, man. But I don't know if he would try it. It's possible that, you know, there's probably a lot of Democratic celebrities that are pretty ambitious. I mean, they don't have a leader. So when you've got something like that, you had Donald Trump come out of nowhere, win. Maybe these people are like, well, maybe it's our time. So you'll probably see a lot of these just random people throw their name in just to try. I thought Stallone was a conservative. Now, I don't know. Is your hope for the future high in terms of politics? Can the Dems get power back? Of course they can. They're a major party. I mean, we're seeing with even these special elections, they've got a certain amount of people that'll vote Democrat no matter what. They think they're right. They think the Republicans are racist, disgusting. I mean, in terms of politics in the United States, I don't have a huge hope because I don't really see I mean, like, I think the country has some like 4 or 5 things that I would call pillar problems to where they're such big issues they require 2, 3, 4 decades to actually change them and correct them. I mean, the debt is something that some administration is going to have to take a leap and really say that this is what we're doing. We have to stop this, and this is how we're going to not only get rid of the deficit, but destroy the debt over a certain period of time. And then the next administrations have to commit to that. But also, you have immigration, which, I mean, if immigration happens, it can be a positive. But obviously, for the United States, it's gone so far into the problems we've had with birth rates to where now we're using the immigration to replace the people that are dying that are not being replaced. I mean, that's what it is. There's really no theory behind that. There's like, it's a conspiracy theory. That's explaining what's happening. The birth rates in Western countries and all, I mean, even in any first world countries, they're lower. But when you replace them with immigration, so it's like all of that needs to be changed. But it's not even just saying no to immigrants. You have to improve the birth rates, and that's through the elimination of, in some cases, feminism. But even doing that, it's like women are all going to college now because you do need a dual income because of how expensive houses are and how expensive kids are and things like that. It's like you have to change all of this shit, and it's like 4 or 5 decades. It really is. Vance 2028 has no hype. Trump 2028 is, well, I mean, dude, no one in 2028 has any hype. Nobody's talking about 2028, man. What's the point of talking about 2028? Couldn't Sylvester Stallone run as an option for Republican president against Vance? Or can only Vance run as the option for the Republicans, being he's already the VP? No. Anyone can run against Vance. There's going to be a primary. But Vance is the obvious choice. If Trump endorses Vance, it's over. Vance being the VP doesn't automatically mean he's going to be the the next Republican nominee. We should do a video on the many examples of election fraud we saw last November. Dude, that seems... I mean, are you an election denier? You should need to be banned from the internet for saying that, man. That's really bad. Get rid of entitlements for billionaires. Well, I mean, when it comes to, like, taxing billionaires more, doing there's going to be a positive and a negative reaction. So you have to just pull the strings of the economy almost. But I do agree, we're going to have to, especially if Trump wants to implement these things where he's cutting taxes. You're cutting taxes with a $2 trillion deficit. So how are we making up that money? And I know they're a lot more proactive. Like this administration versus Biden, it's night and day. Obviously, we can talk about Democrat versus Republican. Trump's a big bad racist. But when you talk about this administration at least trying to tackle a major problem. Walked in on FT Sam with your Trump hat. They loved it. Is it true the U.S. wants to buy Bitcoin with gold? Dude, I don't know. I'm kind of bearish on Trump actually doing this strategic reserve. It doesn't seem like he's really committed to it. Hopefully it happens. But I mean, with the Bitcoin Act, they would buy 5% of the supply. They haven't bought any Bitcoin. The U.S. government hasn't. They basically took the Bitcoin that they had already had, that they had gotten through confiscation, and instead of immediately selling it, the white population of the West becomes minority, will become a Brazil tier slum. No white people, third world status. Tiny. Yeah, I mean, well, I mean, if you look at the demographics and the rate of it, we know what the rate of it. So when does that become mainstream? See, the Overton wonder has to shift to start really discussing demographics in the United States. Because that's, I mean, will Trump ever... Trump doesn't even talk about any of that. So it's not there yet. But obviously on the internet now with Israel and stuff, people are... I mean, there's a lot of criticism against Trump for the Israel stuff. Seems like people are really, really awoke to that because of the Israel-Palestine conflict. Have you looked into US 1D? What Eric Trump's stablecoin is? Is that what it is? Is it seriously that? Somebody told me to. World Liberty Finance stablecoin. That's the meme coin of it, huh? Greenland coin just shot up. You're joking. I'm happy for Greenland coin, man. I'm happy for it. I wonder what if it goes to like 5 million. I'll be angry, honestly. Be very upset about that. But 20%. I know, but is it really sustainable? It is crazy how it sustained a market cap of like 500,000 compared to where we are now. I guess you just don't know how good times are, you know, with the amount of money flow that we had compared to where it is now. They're still in the pre-sale of this World Liberty shit. Snow White.
If I saw this movie on a plane, I would still walk out. This trailer makes me want to sit on the TV and look at my cow. I paid nothing to watch this trailer, but I already want my money back. Coming to a theater near you, me, is that a threat? They should have made Rachel CGI instead. Ron Brown and the 7 Discord mods. The is much better when I turn.
They did do CEI for the dwarves, didn't they? Juan Soto hit a home run, his first home run with the Mets. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the stream now. Man, Titcoin really did that. Wow. Well, I mean, it's not that crazy. When's the last time you've been to a casino? Nah, I don't go to casinos. Would have been when I was in Las Vegas. Chad with a jawline. Are you in Chad coin? You like Chad coin? Ilhan Omar should be deported. Have you seen her immigration history? Right, well, let's get someone who will actually do it. I know she had to scam the immigration system with her brother, I know. You bet on sports? No, I don't. Stream for another 10 hours. That would not be worth it, honestly. Here, go ahead, invest in this 100 million or we're cooked. Well, I think you're cooked, bro. Bro, you're cooked. You're cooked, dog. You're done. They tried to go to 100 million. They made it to 700K. Typical crypto. Yeah, man. I would say I'm pretty heavily Irish. I don't know, guys. What is the actual test? Is it ancestry.com? What's the test you guys recommend I take for that type of stuff? I do need to see the exact numbers. I would say I'm heavily Irish because just based off of the last name, and obviously the hair and things like that. If you end the stream, you're a liberal dem. What is this, April Fools? We'll see if this coin holds up. It's a critical time for this coin to hold up, to find support. $23andMe. That's what it is. 23andMe went bankrupt. Has this been your most productive year? This year? Last year would have been my most productive year. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to beat last year out, mainly because it's just when you've got the election like that, you know, you're not going to beat that out. Oh, please. Oh, what a shame. Oh, please. Yeah, JD Vance meme coin fizzles out. Maybe it'll start accumulating. Oh. This is a meme coin I want to buy. I think this is like a Pepe type. It's a 4chan meme. It's got a weird ass chart though. 13,700,000. It's like a it's like an 18x to the high. Is it still cold in Ohio? Not really. I mean, it depends. Man, SPX is down 16. Bruh. What is this? It doesn't even show up. 16%. It's under 500 million. Yeah, a lot of things have been tailing off recently. It's a valuable asset. It is. This has been brutally cold for Ohio. Yeah, I mean, but honestly, last year I feel like it was kind of cold as well. But yeah, this year it was. There was like one warm up we had for a week in February. There was like one warm up, and then we did recently have another warm up like 2 weeks ago. But I guess it's March now. Just bought into the Greenland 51st state coin. Oh man, you're buying green candles, bro. Dude, I don't own the coin. I don't own the Greenland coin. Don't yell at me if it doesn't do well. You shouldn't buy green candles. Maybe it'll do a 2x, but Mr. Beast was with Mark Zuckerberg. Dude, Mr. Beast is people think he's more powerful than he really is. His audience is like 8-year-olds. Let's be honest with Mr. Beast. Come on. His audience is 8-year-olds. He does all these videos. It's like, I mean, come on. NASDAQ has a good chart. Yeah, NASDAQ has accumulated nicely. Actually, this is, well, I mean, this was a really strong chart, honestly, when it was like right here. When it was like right here, we had to have thought it was going to like boom. Because this is a really good looking chart, but it just didn't do anything. Yeah, I mean, we have to hope it does something, but it's accumulating. It's accumulation. It's an accumulation zone. If you end your stream, you'll turn into an Indian. Well, Vivek is going to be the leader of Ohio. I mean, doesn't it make sense? Pepe Elon. Like, how do you get in these bullshit fucking coins? This looks like a fucking rug pull waiting to happen. Do not redeem. Global warming is BS if it was real. Whatever happened to Al Gore? Global warming. Well, global warming is a scare tactic that's used to money launder. Look at the Green New Deal and the money laundering in that. Man, what happened to morning routine? Oh, morning routine. Oh, man. If this was a good market, this coin would go to 100 million, not 20. Whatever happened with Vivek and Doge, they kicked him out. He wanted to do too many radical things too quickly. No, I'm kidding. I don't know what happened, honestly. They're saying it's because he wants to be, he wants to be the governor of Ohio. He has a race, so that's why. Who won the dog sled race? I don't even think they were allowed to go to that. Bro, I'll be honest. I don't think they were allowed to go to that. Like, seriously. They fucking kicked them the hell out of Greenland. That's all right. We'll be back with our military. You can kick us out with our military when we come back. Why don't you kick our military out? I'm just kidding. What if that's what Vance said? Vance is like, you're gonna kick my wife out? All right, we'll be back. We'll see if you kick us out then. Oh man. A true capitalist would stay alive. No, a true capitalist would actually do another video instead of doing this, because the other video will make me more money. No, I'm not going to do another video tonight, guys. Why don't you stream later, longer for your West Coast viewers? Because, I mean, what time I don't like streaming that late. What, do you think I should start my stream at 9 o'clock instead of 7? Sometimes I start it later. Is Israel behind Goldberg being in the chat? It's always Israel. DC is going to be 90 degrees. Washington, DC? Man, that seems like you're trolling me, man. What meme coins do you think will do well? NASDAQ 420, 4chan, I think will do well. SPX 2.0. Actually have a whole list of them. Look at this. Greenland's performing the best. GTA 6. Good to see GTA 6 making some moves. Wow, it's up over 900K. Yeah, this coin is gonna. They're hoping the trailer needs to come out. The trailer needs to come out. This could be big for me if this GTA 6 coin does well. Some of these are dog shit, though. Mars. The official currency of Mars. Yeah, it's accumulating. Thoughts on Asmongold? Asmongold is pro-Ukraine and hates JD Vance. Yeah, Asmongold is grifting. No, I don't know. I don't watch him. Y2K, this is one that could do well. Yeah, I saw this. This is a good chart. This is a really good chart. 30 million back to 2.5 million. GTA 6 coin could do a 5 to tax. Yeah, that's honestly what I'm hoping. The one on Solana might even do better. Watch David Cole, Auschwitz. All right, man. I listen. I get it, man. I get it. Yeah, I'll do a poll. That's actually a good use of a poll. That's a good use of a poll. Here comes a poll. Here, I'll do it right now. When should I stream? All right. We'll see what it ends up being. Oh man, this is going. This is maybe 8 o'clock is the time. It's 8:06. Yeah, I'm Eastern. No, it's 9:06. 8:06 is Central Time Zone. I mean, it looks like 7 o'clock is still winning out, barely. Yeah, I mean, it looks like 7 o'clock, but it's not really a consensus. All right, guys, that's gonna do it for this stream. I seriously, I'm gonna get off. Can you shout out my fat wife? She reached 400 pounds today. Hey man, get on that RFK diet. Get on that Big Mac meal plan. That'll help you. Tell her to get on that Big Mac meal plan. 7 is too early for West Coast. Yeah, I do feel. I mean, dude, when they strategically place sporting events, it's always 9 o'clock because it's East Coast will still watch even though it's later. West Coast, it's 6 o'clock. I know what you're saying. It is too early for the West Coast. 7 o'clock. Like 9 o'clock is optimal, to be fair. All right, I'll say.